DOJ Inspector General Michael Horowitz facing off with lawmakers again today over his report on the Clinton email investigation. Republican lawmakers pressing Horowitz over revelations of FBI bias.
They prejudged the outcome of the Hillary Clinton investigation before the investigation ended, and these exact same FBI agents and attorneys prejudged the outcome of the Russia investigation before it even began.
Do you believe this text shows political bias?
I think, as we found, it clearly shows a biased state of mind.
February and March of 2016, Peter Strzok said, Trump's abysmal, Trump's an idiot, he's a bleeping idiot, Hillary should win 100 million to 0. Sounds to me like he hates the president.
His text messages would certainly leave that as the implication.
Horowitz confirming to Congress he's investigating whether embattled FBI official Peter Strzok anti-Trump bias factored into the launch of the Bureau's Russia probe. Strzok's lawyer is also firing back against criticism, saying his client is not a conspirator, but instead, ready, a patriot. All right, Kimberly, we're just getting word from Strzok's lawyer. Apparently he's been escorted out of the FBI office building today.
Well, I hope after listening to Trey Gowdy today that he speed dialed the best Washington D.C. defense lawyer, and I mean that seriously, because if you listen to Trey earlier today, it was quite compelling and persuasive. He was quite insistent and really fired up about the whole thing. And when I was listening to him, it's like, wow, he's really kind of made the case against not only Strzok but Comey, and McCabe. And Page, and it's bad. I mean, it's really bad for the United States, bad for the FBI, the system of justice. And, Trey Gowdy kept making the point, there can be no fairness in the process with this level of inherent bias.
Very, very biased. And we're now learning that there were more FBI agents who were sending anti-Trump texts, and one, maybe two of those lawyers wound up in the Mueller team. Dana? I mean, this Mueller team is just packed full of these people at this point, and they were removed for anti-Trump tests by Mueller only 3 or 4 months ago, though.
Yeah, can I tell you something?
Yes.
I didn't follow that particular piece of it because I was following immigration all day. I did note that today Catherine Herridge said that Peter Strzok could actually willingly testify in front of Congress by the end of the week.
That'll be
possibly.
Big.
So yeah, I will pay attention to that, I promise.
Okay, I think we all will. Greg, what do you think about the IG hearing?
Well, first of all, I believe that Strzok's texts are more incriminating in terms of conspiracies than anything in the Russian collusion thing. I was trying to think about this. What would be comparable to writing "Stop Trump"? Would be Trump texting, "Call Putin. We've got to stop Hillary." That would be the smoking gun. But the big story to me is always going to be Trey Gowdy's ever-changing hair.
I knew it.
He's like Martin Landau in Mission Impossible. He has a suitcase full of sideburns and goatees, or like he's in The Americans. It's like he's got to go somewhere. He is a Russian agent. Trey Gowdy. That is not how he looks.
Say CIA or something.
No, I think he works for the Russians.
He's a national man of mystery. And by the way, I think the beard is very becoming, although his politics sometimes is not so becoming. Look,
yes.
I actually did watch it. It's better than watching soap opera in the middle of the day. And the reason why I watched it is because underneath all of the partisan rhetoric about the IG report, we learned that, once again, we have an agency that has some dysfunction. And whether you focus on those emails, texts, disgusted. I'm a former federal employee. Disgusting. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Disgusting.
It's disgusting whether it's saying those things about Mr. Trump or saying those things about Miss Clinton. They are not hired to text each other about their personal dislike of a particular candidate, blah, blah, blah. That being said, the Office of Professional Responsibility must now do their job and remove those who are still in the employment of the federal government. Beyond that, I think this report tells us a lot about Mr. Comey's state of mind, the fact that he was insubordinate, the fact that he believed that he alone could deliver the so-called message to the American people, didn't have to check with his boss. Yeah. So there's a lot to learn in this. I haven't read all of it because, as you know, there are no pictures. But I read faster when I see pictures, but it is a story that we need to know. And by the way, you and I can have a conversation about the Russians, and I can speak a little bit of the language now, because I do believe that we need to get to the bottom of what happened in 2020.
Well, I'm married to a Russian, so I can speak a little.
And speaking of Comey, the Inspector General confirmed that Comey's handling of the classified memos is under investigation. So everyone's under investigation at this point.
You will be soon.
Are we going to do another kumbaya at the end of this segment?
Yeah, we agree.
Yeah, sure.
Can we agree, though?
Yes, the FBI is in complete dysfunction.
Can we agree, though, that these things, they're like soccer? It's like 0-0 at halftime. Like when you're watching these things, it's like soccer.
Did you prepare that
0-0
one ahead of
at
time?
halftime.
I don't know if
very
this was a tie. I think this was a slam dunk by the
But then the next one will
investigators.
be.
I
You
know.
wait till a minute 38 and the guy scores, and you're like, thank you, I want to turn this
It's like soccer
off.
where you cheer a pass.
Well, I think Trey Gowdy scored today.
Yeah. Well, with
not
the
just because of his
goatee.
All right.
Mark Meadows just walking out, joining us. Congressman, thanks for being here.
It's great to be with you.
Give us an inside scoop. We're kind of behind the scenes of this meeting.
You know, obviously it was a very long meeting where the president was talking about not only the agenda on immigration, but certainly what we've accomplished, what we need to do from here. But it's all about getting it done. He really wants us to make sure that we put up 218 votes on the House floor this week. He said he's behind us 1,000%. Obviously wants to deal with this separation issue with children at the border, but both bills actually do that. The compromise bill or the leadership bill is certainly the one that seems to have the most the highest probability of getting to 218.
The president just walked by. The microphone didn't stop. A number of Democrats there chanting about getting families together. Did the president say, you know, that he knows that he can do a change himself, or how did he play it with the legislation?
Yeah, no, he didn't do that.
can do?
He had Secretary Nielsen there, and obviously she was there in the room and talking about the fact that we've got to find a real solution to this. But this is more a legislative solution. This is something that we've been dealing with a long time. When you look at protection of children, that's why this decree came down originally. But they believe that it's best that we get a legislative solution. I think there's some narrow bills that both in the House and the Senate that will address this issue. But I'm hearing Chuck Schumer is not supportive of any legislative effort.
We just reported that, and that's what he said today to reporters, is that there's not a Republican legislative solution that Democrats will sign on to. And your reaction to that?
Well, my reaction to that is read the bills. I mean, I know we've introduced a bill. Senator Ted Cruz has introduced a bill. But is he saying that there's no legislative solution? And when you look at that, Brett, I think the American people want us to solve it. I've been getting calls all day long. But at the same time, they want us to come together. Democrats and Republicans, I think a number of us are giving them the opportunity to do that.
I'm going to listen in, just see if the president says anything as he's with
Sure.
the House Majority Leader McCarthy.
Mr. President,
we had a great meeting. These are laws that have been broken for many years, decades, but we had a great meeting. Thank you.
Kind of reiterating there, Congressman, what he said going in, the laws have been broken for decades, and you had a great meeting. Did he talk a lot about immigration, or was it a mix? I mean,
it was a real mix. I think he started with immigration. He came back to immigration both in the middle and at the end. But we talked about regulation. We talked about actually the association health plans that bring down premiums for health care that he's signing in with the Secretary of Labor. And
is there an urgency here, or is this an issue that both sides are kind of playing politics with?
Yeah, I can tell you that our side is not playing politics with it. I had my staff working over the weekend to come up with a legislative fix, 77 pages that really we worked around the clock to get introduced today, and we did that at noon. And so it's not about politics. It's about getting the job done right. Unfortunately, it has been a political football back and forth. And when you're dealing with people's lives, you got to make sure that you get it done right. Hopefully we will, and I believe we will this week.
And were Republicans in that meeting saying we need to either do a narrow bill, or, President, you have to change this dynamic?
Yeah, I think right now the focus was on the two more comprehensive bills. There was not a lot of discussion about a narrow bill, although the separation issue did come up a couple of times, and you know, the president was very compassionate about it. Talked about his daughter bringing that up, Ivanka, and so when you look at that, it's not lost on him that we've got to fix this. But at the same time, we've got this full week. I think the pressure is on us from the American people to get it done this week. I believe we will.
Congressman, we appreciate you stopping by,
Thank you,
giving
Brett.
us the inside scoop. It was another day of some pretty intense questioning for the Justice Department Inspector General today. At issue, what part politics and prejudice played in the FBI's investigation of the Hillary Clinton email scandal and, by extension, the ongoing probe into Russia election interference. Chief Intelligence Correspondent Catherine Herridge is watching it all here from Capitol Hill.
They prejudged the outcome of the Hillary Clinton investigation before the investigation ended, and these exact same FBI agents and attorneys prejudged the outcome of the Russia investigation before it even began.
During a second day of marathon testimony, lawmakers pressed Inspector General Michael E. Horowitz over what Republicans describe as political bias at the FBI, impacting both presidential campaigns. They point to a newly discovered August 2016 text between FBI agent Peter Strzok and FBI lawyer Lisa Page saying they would stop Trump from being elected.
I wonder who the we is and the we'll stop it. If we can go through a couple of them.
Or the broader, or a broader group beyond that. We have found 3 additional FBI agents.
And some transition to the Russia Special Counsel investigation.
Do they still work for Mueller?
That's my understanding is no.
In July 2016, Agent Strzok also pivoted from the Clinton emails to collusion.
Do you believe the political bias shown by this text had an effect on the initiation of the Russia investigation?
That's a matter we've got under review.
Horowitz testified a 4th forensic review of the Strzok-Page FBI phones uncovered the explosive text in May. Congress wasn't immediately notified.
We sent it to the Office of Deputy Attorney General and
So Mr. Rosenstein.
In his office.
The point is, when you did get it, Mr. Rosenstein decided we couldn't get it until your report came out. He sat on it for a month of time.
Another lawmaker questioned why the report was silent on allegations the Clinton server may have been hacked, and the FBI failed to follow up.
But that's not in your report.
That's correct.
The president weighed in.
When you read that IG report about how she got away with what she got away with, it's a disgrace.
After multiple reviews and an FBI investigation, Democrats blamed former Director James Comey and accused Republicans of refusing to acknowledge that a Clinton prosecution was never justified.
All their howling about lock her up was bogus. It was baseless. It was unsubstantiated.
James Comey decided to play judge, jury, and executioner, and on October 28th, he executed the Hillary Clinton campaign.
The hearing concluded after 6.5 hours of testimony with headlines in the final minutes. Inspector General Horowitz confirmed that he's following up on allegations that FBI interview summaries known as 302s were altered. Brett.
Catherine, there was also some late news this afternoon on FBI agent Peter Strzok. What did we learn there?
Well, in a statement, Strzok's attorney confirmed to Fox News that his client has been fully cooperating with an internal FBI review, which included recently being escorted from the FBI building. The statement also said, at least for now, Strzok remains an FBI employee. Brett.
Okay, Catherine, thank you.